The very nervous man about to have a procedure done, and he's quite scared. Well, he should be. He's in the opening sequence. Our patient can be seen looking back and forth nervously asking, will this hurt? Amidst the nurses bustling about, the man lays down and then all hell breaks loose. Your main character, the man, the myth, the legend, Nicky, barges in and is followed by The Rock. Not really, just a bulky bald guy, but they could be cousins. Patient is now laying down, knocked out and naked, minus a gun laying strategically across his ween. Yes, I said ween. Our bad guy grabs said ween, thinking it is in fact the gun. But have no doubt that our hero Nicky got to the gun first. So lots of wild fighting, throwing, punching, knocking sterilized items around. It's a mess, really. Patient is about to come to for a brief moment and get at least 10 shots of collagen in his face. Very unpleasant sight later in the movie. Bald Rock wannabe, we will later find out, is named Falcon/Mammoth, and Nicky shocks him with the paddles of life and stalls him briefly. More fighting, Nicky will take this win. Nicky Larson, Big City, moves across the screen. Music plays and the show is now about to begin. They set us up nicely with that opening. Ooh, I wonder what that's about. Let me introduce you to Laura, our spunky redhead sidekick roommate, teammate, and sister of Tony, who was Nicky's best bud. So apparently Laura and Nicky are always playing pranks on each other, and that's how the scene opens. Laura's trying to douse Nicky with water in a bucket and mad. The events that take place in Nicky's room are going to be so important and pervy throughout the movie. You see, this is where we find out Nicky is a major pervert. He can and will find boobs and butts everywhere he looks, and he looks all the time. He's actually quite nasty, using his sniper rifle to spy on the girls across the way, and we of course have to have slow-mo shots of bouncing and such. To say Nicky appreciates the female form is putting it mildly. Laura is very disgusted with Nicky, and will tell him many times throughout the movie how appalling his behavior is when it comes to ogling the ladies. Laura will make one last attempt at a prank when she puts a live crab in the bubble bath she's run for Nicky. This is going to catch you totally off guard, but the crab pinches his pee-pee. Shocker. The lines are made clear. Nicky is the talented perv and Laura is the faithful sidekick. There is a setup for couple goals here, and again, you could see it coming from about 5 miles away. Nicky believes this is going to be an attractive woman, so he's game. Laura's remembering her brother, and Nicky's having a flashback. I love flashbacks. So much story in a fun and fresh way. He's talking to Tony, and Tony tells him he has found Black Hand. Nicky's shocked, and when Tony goes out to the street and walks up to a car where he's being summoned, he gets shot by a skeleton hand. Nicky's devastated and decides then and there revenge will be his. Nicky has done just that, but obviously needs Laura just as much. I would like to point out here that Nicky, albeit shallow and dirty-minded, is actually a good guy. And we will find out a good marksman and investigator. Oh, Nicky, so predictable. Everyone meets Dominic. He's plump and looks kinda scary but kind, and needs our hero's help. Dominic proceeds to share the story of a scientist who invented a perfume. Cupid's perfume. The devil's nectar, maybe? Anyway, it's so potent that one spray will make anyone fall in love with you. That would actually be worth so much money. So Nicky calls BS and Dom sprays some on himself, and lo and behold, Nicky's now wanting to test the waters on the other side. Dom says there's an antidote, and it's the only way to take the effect away. The person will be infatuated for 48 hours, and after that, permanently with the antidote. Nicky doesn't like Laura teasing him about his love, so he sprays her 1,000,000 times, and we will then be introduced to Pancho, our harmless park maintenance man. He's goofy and sweet, and not quite Laura's type. So there's a bomb explosion to distract, and the briefcase with perfume is gone. Nicky jumps into action, and it's fighting and running and switching briefcases and confusion everywhere. This is where Mammoth grabs the briefcase. Ah, the big bald guy from the opening scene is back. Now we start that beginning fight sequence here from the beginning. They, Nicky and Mammoth, run into the doctor's office, etc. Don't you just love how they brought us back to full circle? Well done, director. After the long and strenuous fight, we find our duo back at their place, where Nicky has called his cop friend, Helen, whom he has a mad crush on, and takes a moment to stare at her boobs. She says she will try and find out who the suitcase they retrieved after all the fighting in the park. She will see whom it belongs to because that person has the case with the perfume and doesn't know it. This is where we see that poor Pancho has indeed fallen for Laura today while she was sprayed with perfume and they connected at the park. They also now have a name of the briefcase owner from the news. Everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Gilbert Skippy. Nice family man with a nagging wife, crazy mother-in-law, and hard worker that is taken for granted. So off we rush to Gilbert's place where our unlikely duo finds Gilbert's wife and kid along with his mother-in-law tied up on the couch, explaining that he opened the briefcase and after a series of unfortunate events he left. Mammoth has been by, obviously. They're tied tied up after all, and mother-in-law says she was attacked by Gilbert before leaving. We discover that she in fact attacks him when he sprays the perfume. After he discovers its powers, he wastes no time in taking off to find the woman of his dreams, Pamela Anderson. Oops, I mean Jessica Rabbit. No, Jessica Fox. This is where the best line of the movie is gifted to us. Mother-in-law, you know what they say, nice eyes, big balls. What? I can't even. Cougar warning here. Grandma's going to show her boobs, and they look as if they belong to a 20-something. But whatever, let's move on. The suspense is killing me. Gilbert is using the perfume for every ounce it's worth, pun intended, and getting on a plane to Monaco to find Foxy Jessica. Nikki and Laura are discussing the plan and the importance of getting the perfume back when guess who appears? Pancho. He's still after Laura. He will come in handy later in the movie, so we allow it. Nikki and Laura are picked up at the airport with a lady holding a name card for them. They keep the mystery here by now showing us her face.
Réveille-toi, t'es en train de baver, là.
Already seems sus. It will be. They leave with her. Then, they're driven to an abandoned junkyard. Told you she was sus. Yes, you heard me right. Through his eyes, it's like we're there, all loopy and beat up. This is great stuff. Very original. Nikki is given a truth serum and Laura is struggling, giving the old college try to help Nikki. Nikki tells them too much, of course, because of the serum, but then proceeds to kick everyone's ass, and the most exciting part, we get to see it from Nikki's point of view. Seriously, it's like we're the ones fighting. Laura and Nikki put up a good fight, but end up in a car that falls from a forklift shot down by Nikki. But alas, our heroes are saved. Pancho manages to save Laura's life one more time. Laura faces an attacker and she notices that he's wearing her brother Tony's watch on his arm. That was intense. Let's take a moment. Laura is telling a sweet story about her brother. The moment is heavy for Laura and Nikki both when Pancho interrupts to say that he has to go pee.
C'était il y a un an.
He's kind of annoying. Actually, he's very annoying, but he's good to Laura. He's dressed up for prom, if this prom was in the 70s, and is harassed by the doorman, jerks. This is the Benny Hill line. He uses perfume to attempt to sway the doorman, and gets the royal beatdown when he sees Jessica Fox, and she instantly falls in love and takes him to her room. Lucky Gilbert, he never had it so good. They make their way inside the house, looking beautiful and fancy, and Laura is a girly girl. Nikki says some very sweet things about Laura, and then proceeds to check out every set of boobs that he can find in the place. Gilbert is having the time of his life with Miss Fox. She's all over him, and even as he stumbles around dorky and shy, she is so in love. She has Gilbert dress up like a boat captain and dance for her.
Fantastique.
Been there, done that. She's called out for her appearance, but doesn't want to leave him alone, so she handcuffs him to the bed. Nikki has the sudden urge to call Dominic and ask for a date. Let's not forget, he's still under the perfume spell. He gets rejected, and the Zoolander look he gets is actually better than the actual Zoolander. Anyway, he's so pouty that he's missing all the half-naked women in front of him. Can you believe the upset this man must be under? This will start Laura walking around aimlessly, letting the thought sink in that she's in love with Nikki. She really didn't realize it, had no idea. I'm as shocked as she is, as shocked as all of you. So back to the bedroom, Miss Fox is knocked out. Gilbert is locked up, and now Nikki breaks in demanding perfume. Gilbert is shocked. It's in the pocket of my suit. Nikki gets the spray and says this isn't it, basically. I want the big bottle. Gilbert, it's not here, obviously. Laura is trying to explain to Pancho, who's popped up once again, that he's not in love with her. It's the potion. He cares not. So Mammoth breaks in just as Nikki finds Gilbert, and yet another big scene. Some more back and forth. I really want to get to bigger action. This scene lasts way too long. Like, just time filler, if you will. With Nikki driving, Laura screaming Pancho on the bed, Gilbert on the bed, and everybody's frantic. There are bad guys chasing, guns being shot off, high-speed chasing, and Gilbert's crotch getting set on fire. It's a lot, and it's spectacularly stupid. But I'm here for it. It is the perfect build-up to the most amazing action moment of all time. So one of the bad guys goes flying through the windshield of his car and in slow motion passes by everyone and makes awkward eye contact all the while. Take My Breath Away is playing and takes my breath. You cannot stop watching this perfect moment of weirdness. The song is the best thing about this entire movie and doesn't fit this scene, which makes it perfect for the scene. Let me say here that I have left out an entire moment where a mama duck and all her ducklings smell Gilbert and fall in love. Yes, ducks, and they go everywhere he goes. So from this moment on, please keep an eye on the ducks. So the bad guys get there and we, the truck and the bed, come to a screeching halt and Pancho gets hurt. But this time Laura gets to return the favor and save him. My hero.
Je comprends mieux, c'est parce que vous êtes ensemble.
So Nikki and Laura separate here and we're going to stay with Nikki. He is the hero after all. Nikki has retrieved the perfume and antidote. He's going to have a moment here where he's trying to decide if he should take the antidote or stay in love with Dominic. Tough choice.
Bah, qu'est-ce que vous attendez? Je sais pas.
He calls to tell Laura, "Laura, I'm so sorry, Nikki." Realizing she's been captured, he's ordered to meet at a power plant. But wait, there's more. Mammoth comes barging in the door, but Nikki hears a female voice on his face. And before they can stop fighting, Nikki says, "Wait." They leave us on a suspense-filled roller coaster here. Spoiler alert, the climax is this scene, and it's a good one. We have Nikki and Gilbert, and yes, Poncho, and they're going to save the world. Well, kinda, just Laura and the perfume, but you understand. Our hero sneaks in and finds the goons from the junkyard along with a female driver and head bad guy, we think. All the boys and the ducks get in on this, and the fight scene is pretty great. Everyone is doing their part, and we know they are all heroes today. There's a line here said to a bald man, "Even with a head like a dick, you can have balls." That is poetry. Anywho, we finally get to Laura after Gilbert and Poncho attempt to revive a decapitated head. Nikki runs to Laura, and Laura is so happy to see him and wants a response to her newfound love realization. But Nikki is in the zone. He preps her, and they start a dance of weaponry and warfare. Guns are blazing, and they are side by side, then back to back and around, and they are in beast mode. Nikki wraps himself around Laura's legs and between her torn dress, and this is a sexy scene, y'all. It's a James Bond moment indeed. They end these clowns with perfect aim and a propane tank. Laura is running on adrenaline and love and doesn't understand why Nikki isn't feeling anything, so she takes the perfume they still are holding and she sprays herself. But wait, you guessed it, it did nothing. It had no effect at all on Nikki. But it doesn't matter anyway because Laura discovers she's a walking bomb. It's around her waist and she can't leave the building or it will detonate. Nikki will work fiercely to free her, but ultimately she dies. No, just kidding. Nikki takes the bomb off her and locks himself in the building after he sets her free. This is a very touching moment, and if the movie hadn't been so B-flick cheesy up to this point, I may have cried. Laura is fully ugly crying, and I don't mean to be cruel, but it's very ugly crying. Laura hands Dominic the perfume and says, "Destroy it." Dominic shows her a text from Nikki saying he will watch over her from above. Also some sexy pics that he sent when on the perfume. Laura appears equally turned on and off. The police come running out and Dominic is being arrested. He grabs Laura and takes her behind a tomb wall with a gun to her head when out of nowhere we see Nikki. He is alive. It was all a fake out. He and Mammoth worked together because they were both after the same guy. Dominic was trying to get them to kill each other. With perfectly placed gunshots, Nikki saves Laura. Okay guys, none of us saw this coming, but the real female Dominic is getting out of the car and she's so nice and so awesome. She wanted the perfume to destroy it all along. She gives Nikki one perfume-sized bullet saying it's the last. The rest has been destroyed and he loads it into his sniper rifle. Dominic and Laura have a quick chat while he's doing that, and Laura finds out the perfume didn't work on Nikki because he can't feel its effects if he's already in love with the person wearing it. Finally, they have become the couple we've always needed. They have a sexy, sweet moment together when he helps her aim the gun with the perfume at the fake Dominic in the prison yard, and they get him right in the neck. Well, you can imagine all the inmates start circling, including a dog. Seriously, what's with the animal attraction? See what I did there? His life is going to be hell. Nikki and Laura watch together as female Dominic gets her dress blown up and butt greets them. They stare, and then Nikki has to be Nikki. Laura gets upset, and our lovely couple run off into the sunset with screaming and sledgehammers. Laura's last comment is, "You piss me off." Oh, Nikki, will you ever change? The end. So tell me, what would you have done? Kept the potion? Sold off the potion for millions? Thank you for joining us, friends, and we hope to see you again soon.